Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to your bonus reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. If you're watching this reading was meant to find you. Please hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Scorpio, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. Princess of Swords. You're somebody who loves to learn new things, you know. You are not afraid of putting yourself in an uncomfortable place. You don't mind sort of being on your back foot, of having to put in the extra effort to raise yourself up to a certain level. You know, you don't mind going into a situation where you're sort of the greenhorn, you know, where you're the underdog even, or you're the one who's the apprentice in a room full of masters. That doesn't intimidate you, you know. I think it inspires you. I think that you're somebody who wants to be challenged. You want to feel like you're the sort of the youngest person in the room, you know, or that you are the beginner here, because then there's all this growth ahead of you, right? If you're the master in the room full of students, well then it's a different perspective, right? This is the perspective of the student, the one who's learning, the one who is trying to figure out their way, trying to know who they are. Okay? And I think you're a lifelong student, as I personally believe we all should be. We should always be looking for ways that we can learn. We should always be putting ourselves in the presence of masters, right? Then I maybe if I'm lucky, I can soak up a little bit of wisdom, and that might change my life, right? If we surround ourselves with, with people who inspire us, with people who are wise with experience or knowledge, people who feel like giants, you know, when we're in the room, then I think that's good for us. Because that not only inspires us and shows us kind of, well, if someone else can achieve that, so can I. But maybe I'll hear something or see something or experience something that will really benefit me, that'll help me to grow on this path of becoming my own giant. Yeah. And so I feel that this is a really positive energy. We're trying to surround ourselves with things that are better than us, people that are smarter than us, more successful, right? We're trying to put ourselves in the position where people are better than we are, right? For lack of a better term. Because that gives us motivation and hunger. That's a learning sort of experience, right? You are the company you keep. Yeah. And I think you take this to heart and you really like that kind of energy. Let's put this card into a little bit of context. All right. Let's see what we're doing with this great Princess of Swords. We've got a Five of Cups. We've got High Priestess. We've got a Princess of Cups now, right? Both of these. Princess of Cups, Princess of Swords. Five of Cups right there. A Prince of Pentacles. And, oh, look at that, the Hierophant. Well, that is good. Holy smokes. Because this is you. Now, if you're surrounding yourself with the giants, right? What is that? You're building up your life. Very strong Taurus energy, by the way. I'm getting really excited here. Go watch the Taurus reading. Okay? The last one that came out, watch it. It's through this energy of yours that you're building yourself up into one of these giants, right? So you're putting yourself in the company of giants and you're becoming that yourself. That's what it's leading to. Holy smokes, right? This is really great fortune here. This is one of these sort of serendipitous moments on this channel that I'm I'm jumping out of my chair. This is exciting. Because that's what the Hierophant is. The Hierophant is the teacher, right? We're the student. This is the teacher. This is that giant. We're putting ourselves in the company of these sorts of people, these sorts of energies, right? So that we can figure out the way. We can learn their secrets, that we can understand their tools, and we can build ourselves up into that sort of stature. And the student can become the teacher. The apprentice can become the master, nay, transcend the teacher or the master. Yeah, this is extraordinary. Scorpio, if there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Okay. Let's finish up with our cards here. Let's put more cards on the table. 8 of Pentacles. Yes, very good. The Moon card. And we've got 3 of Wands, 10 of Pentacles. 10 of Pentacles is that great good fortune. That is your best life. That is your goal. That is accomplishing your goal, right? That is spectacular. This is really great fortune for you because you're doing everything right. You're learning the skills. You're learning the secrets of the masters, and you are using it to change your life and achieve this greatness of your own. You're standing on the shoulders of giants, right? You're learning the tools of the titans. That is beautiful, beautiful energy. Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. And we'll just set it down right here. We'll put Alien Simon Mark Ripley right on top. We're not going to look at that card, all right, until the very end. But it will tie everything together and hopefully give us our confirmation and our connection at the end. If you have a prediction for that card, please put it in the comments down below. Yeah. Let's look around the room here. A couple of major arcana energies that are sticking out. The intuition of the High Priestess, the growing psychic awareness, the growing trust in yourself. Okay. And of course, learning, teaching, absorbing wisdom, learning the tools, becoming, and this is in your future. Okay, this is what everything is leading toward. This is also at the very center of the tarot table today. This is the axis mundi. This is the galactic center, right? This is the pole star. It is this fixed point that everything else in the reading, all these other cards are swirling around this. This is what it's all about. Your growth, your maturity into the master of the temple, right? The master of the temple. And, we know that it's going to be a particular kind of process. With the Moon card here, the Moon is the dark, scary forest. You cannot learn and grow if you don't ever put yourself into an unfamiliar place. Where you can't keep reading, I guess you could, keep reading the same textbook over and over and over again. You'll learn everything in that textbook, great, yes. But if you don't put yourself into any unfamiliar territory, how are you going to grow? How are you going to expand your capabilities, your skills, your talents, your knowledge and wisdom, right? So we need this Moon card. We need this dark, scary forest because this is sort of pushing the limits, using our imagination here. If you can't imagine yourself in any kind of different place, if you're not willing to put yourself into the unfamiliar, if you're not willing to take that journey into the unknown, it will never become known, right? And the Hierophant and the Moon card is very, very interesting combination because the Hierophant is one that has gone through the dark, scary forest and has come out the other side, master of the universe, right? Has come out sort of as the master of that forest, right? And so I don't know what this forest is necessarily for you. I don't know what this environment looks like for you. It may be that you don't know either. Sometimes it's a very dark, scary forest. It's a dark doorway. It's something that we are slowly stepping through with some fear, with some courage. And you can't have courage. You can't be brave if you're not first afraid. I can't even say the words. You have to fear first. We need fear. And we either succumb to it or we overcome it with bravery. Okay? To be brave, you must first feel fear. Say that 3 times fast. Let that become the mantra, right? Fear is the mind killer. Okay? At the same time, and it's interesting that I say that because, you know what, we don't have any air cards here. So I think in this case, fear really did kill the mind. And in that sense, it feels as if we think about it, if we think about how scary this life is, and how stepping into the unknown, whatever's on the other side of this doorway, whatever situations you're putting yourself into in an effort to grow and learn and expand, shine a light on these dark corners of experience so you can become the master. If we think about it too much, we ain't going to do it, right? Fear really does sort of kill the ambition if we let the mind, if we give the mind too much space, too much slack to think about it. Okay, so this is kind of one of those situations where we got to just close our eyes and go into it. And of course, we see that little sun at the bottom of the card. That's you. That's the light of your spiritual consciousness. That's the light of your awareness. And so this dark, scary forest, it won't be dark for long. It won't be unfamiliar, uncharted territory for long because you're stepping into it. And I feel that you are, in some ways, having a bit of a guide there too. Okay? It's still a big, scary step for you. It's still it maybe is an intimidating situation. It's kind of scary. You're going to have to be brave. Because you're stepping into this unknown realm and you're saying, teach me your wisdom, teach me your secrets. Okay? Maybe this is work things, school, life, right? It's life. You're stepping into this with as much courage as you can muster. I think it really is going to change your life. Okay? This is so much this is great good fortune. With the moon card, I like to say that you don't know what this is until you go and do it. You don't know until you go, because you are that sun. And as soon as you hit the light switch, well, it's not so dark and scary anymore, is it? You can see that the scary figure in the corner is just an overturned mop with a bucket on top, you know. So it seems scary at first because it's unfamiliar. We don't know what it is. We've never been there before. We're kind of afraid of it. It's human nature, right? It's like our cat. If I make a little tent out of a blanket and it's kind of a dark cave in there, our cat Titi, she's a hairless sphinx cat, right? She'll creep around and she'll look, and then she'll jump back like she'll get scared. She sees something in there. She gets scared. She jumps back, right? But eventually she gets the courage up. She goes in there. She crawls in there. She falls asleep. She loves it. It's her favorite place. You know, it's just a blanket on top of a chair, you know, creating kind of a tent. But it's an unknown thing. She's never been in that little room before. And our instinct is to be cautious of it. But once she gets in there, she's like, oh, I like it in here. And then she's just kind of like, oh yeah, I've always liked this. And I gotta tell you, my daughter's the same way. She's afraid of something at first, but once she gets there and she does it, then she acts like, oh, I've always liked this. You know, I've never been scared of this. I've always been comfortable in this situation. And I love that. And that's so inspiring to see, right? And the repetition of this, I think, is really creating this Hierophant in you, creating your sort of mastership, your mastery of life, of yourself. Yeah. So anyway, moon card, we got the intuition. You got to trust yourself more. You got to trust that, you know, your impulse, your student sort of curiosity is the right thing to go into this dark, scary forest. Okay. And then we've got fire. We've got water and water. We've got, I misspoke. I said we didn't have any air. We got a little bit of air. And this is that air that has to be brave going into this dark, scary forest. Right? We don't want to let fear, kill the mind, kill the curiosity, kill the intention. We're afraid of what it's going to be, so we just, we stop going, right? And I've had that. I've experienced that in my life. There was one time where I had so much anxiety and I had social anxiety, I was really young, and I started going to a new college. And at first I tried, and it became too much, and I ended up sort of dropping out of those classes for a semester, I ended up going back and finishing the courses and stuff the next semester, but at that moment, for whatever reason, I just couldn't do it. My fear of this big, strange place, I didn't know anybody, I wasn't very confident in myself, and, I couldn't do it. I'll admit that. Because I think it happens to all of us, and it's a natural thing. But you're doing a very good job of trusting yourself that you're supposed to be there. It will not be scary forever. Okay? And so we have a little bit of air energy anyway. That was the point. And then we've got earth and earth and earth. If you build it and you maintain it, it is going to change your life. It is going to be, it's going to be the Ten of Pentacles. It's going to be your best life. This is what you're building, and it takes time. It's a slow process, slow and gradual, very steady. Right? Now, what is the Five of Cups? Well, I think the Five of Cups is the feeling of, disappointment, It's the feeling like there's something there that shouldn't be there. I have an emptiness. I have a desire in me that I want to fill it. So this really is motivating, because it's kind of saying, I'm not satisfied. I want more. I'm not satisfied with just basic, the way things are. No, I want more. I want to step into the unknown. Without this sort of, these two cards are that curiosity, because it says, I'm missing something in my life. I feel as if there's more out here in the universe somewhere, and gosh darn it, dag nabbit, I'm going to find it. And so you put yourself, as scary as it might be, as sometimes as disappointing as it is, because we don't like to ever really be aware of our own limitations, our own ignorance, right? Our own shortcomings, right? You're putting yourself in the presence of masters, of giants, of titans, right? Sometimes it makes us feel like we're kind of underachievers, But that's the point. Not to denigrate ourselves, not to sort of flagellate ourselves by putting ourselves in those positions, just making us feel worse. No, we're using it as motivation. We're using it as inspiration, because, if we feel that there's a potential in me, and my gut, this is underneath the surface. This is something inside of you that's saying, you got to go and do this. There's more out there for you. Okay? And if your life is Five of Cups, it's just saying I'm tired with the same old quality of my pleasant and unpleasant experiences. I'm ready for a new level. I'm ready to open up to something bigger and greater. I want to expand my mind and my consciousness. Right? The experience of going into that dark, scary forest is going to make all of the joys and sorrows of your life heretofore seem like just little droppers in the ocean. It's going to be as nothing, right? And so it's sort of a transcendence. And I think these are the very, very curious energies here. And it is sometimes our disappointment in life. It's kind of saying wow, and I'm trying to think of an example here, because, I like my analogies. It's kind of like you go to, I'm sure you've had this problem, but you go to a restaurant or something, and, you're very excited, and then you get, everything comes back to food. You should know me by now, right? You're at a restaurant and you order something to eat, and they bring it to you, and you're eating it, and you're just like, man, I had my hopes up for something really spectacular, like Michelin star, right? But it's just like the pasta's undercooked, and some of the other things just aren't right. The seasoning seems off. They didn't season it at all. There's these little things that are just sort of disappointing. And then it's just like, and then we could say, well, it's not bad, right? Then we go to another restaurant and we think, oh, the pasta's cooked all the way through. This is pretty good. But it's just relative to the last thing we had, and it's not that great. It's still not Michelin star, right? So we start to kind of have this idea of there's got to be more out there. There's got to be somebody somewhere that's cooking some good food. Yeah. So then you set out on this quest, and you go on this journey. And maybe, I don't know, maybe yours is a food quest. Maybe you've got a food channel on YouTube or something. If you do, I would love to watch. I really love food shows. I tell you, Chopped. I love Top Chef. I love Guy Fieri. I love all those kind of things. Right? They're my favorites. I don't know. But it's the idea here that what we thought was pleasant or unpleasant, our idea of what's sort of good and not good, right, is very limited. So the more experience we get, then we can see, well, what I thought was good before, that is like nothing compared to what I'm tasting over here. And I've never really been in a fancy restaurant. One day, I hope. One day I'll try the really, really fine dining. And that'll probably make me realize that everything that I've had up till now has been like nothing. And not to disparage anything that I've eaten or anything, but it's just that relative, it's the distance between things. Things are miles apart. And you're willing to traverse those long, treacherous miles to get to what is really, truly satisfying, to get to what is really, truly tasty for you, And I think that's part of our Five of Cups and the way the Five of Cups can truly be motivating for us. We don't have to accept a life that is just disappointing. It's just like, wow, I was kind of expecting this place to be more. I was expecting more liveliness. I was expecting more flavor. And it's just kind of disappointing. But this is what everybody says is good, It's kind of like you're watching a show on TV that all your friends told you, oh, you got to watch this show. It's the best. It's literally the best. And you watch it and you're just like, this is the best that's out there? And then you're just like, all right, where are my shoes? I'm going in search of what is really the best. For me, for you personally. It's relative. Okay? But that brings us to our Princess of Cups. You've got to know what your tastes and preferences are. You have certain things that you like. And if everything that you've been experiencing isn't all that satisfying, it's kind of this idea that we've got to go exploring. We got to build up a life that is more meaningful, that has more depth, that has more richness to it. The Ten of Pentacles, where everybody thinks it's money, right? Yeah, it could be money. This is a dish that's well seasoned. This is a dish that tastes really good. Okay, there's a richness, there's an umami, right? There's a savory flavor in this Ten of Pentacles. Yeah, it could be money. Very likely in your case, I think it is, because of all the other earth energy that we have, and I think the way the cards are aligned here, particularly the Prince, right, of Pentacles, because that's it. We're building a life. We're building something that's going to have the quality that we've been looking for in life. That's going to have the flavor. Maybe you're building a restaurant. Maybe you're saying, look, I've never had a good meal in my life. I'm going to start cooking the food that I want to eat. And if other people want to, pay me some money to sit down and eat it too, well then fine. But that's sort of the motivation. We're not doing it for the money. We're doing it for us, for you, because you know what tastes good to you. And I think that's what you should be doing anything for, whether it's writing a book, painting a picture, making a YouTube channel, cooking something. You're cooking for you. Don't cook for the customer. Cook for yourself. Do you want to eat that? Is that the best meal that you've ever tasted in your life? If it's not, why would you expect somebody to pay you money for it? Okay? You're creating the reality that you want. Okay? And so you're starting a business, whatever it is you're doing, you're creating it for you based on what you like and what you think is good, what your standards are, what your tastes are. And the more experience you get, the more your tastes are going to evolve, the more you will expand and grow your palate. By putting yourself in the presence of titans, then you know what, oh, okay, that's what good food is supposed to taste like. All right. So we're sort of learning, and our aesthetics are growing, right? Our palate is growing. Our personal tastes and preferences are growing and expanding, okay? Doesn't mean you're doing something with food. I hope you are. But it doesn't have to be that. It's whatever your work, whatever you're trying to do in life. Whatever in your life you really want to experience, but it's like it isn't there, that's what you are supposed to do in life. You see? That's how we discover our purpose. What do you wish you had in life that you can't seem to find anywhere? You want a good salad, right? I was going to say hamburger, but let's say salad. You want a good salad. Anywhere you go, the salads are just like wimpy little salads. Maybe that means that you need to figure out, if you really care about salads that much, maybe you're the one that has to make that salad that you want to eat. What's that salad that you would pay $30 for, or whatever, I don't know. That's your purpose right now, right? And that may change over time, and we'll get there with the Ten of Pentacles changes over time. But this is the builder energy. This is the builder that has a purpose. This is you knowing what it is, and now it's not even really, there's no thought involved. We're just building this life. We're trying to get better. We're trying to continually grow and expand. Okay? We're building something up. This is a very active card right here, right now, in the present. Because we're trying to continue with something. We're trying to create that reality that we want to experience. Trying to create that salad that I would pay $30 to eat. Because I've paid $30 for food. I'm like, why did I buy this? You know? And so now, of course, I rely on my wife, Lenore, to cook a lot. She's a really excellent cook. She does tea leaf readings, too, over at Ula Tea Leaf Readings. Go sub her channel. Tell her I sent you. Tell her about her cooking. It's amazing. It's just delicious. And that's kind of, that's why I'm always telling her, I'm saying, babe, you should start a restaurant. I'll do the front of the house or whatever. I'll be your line cook. I'll wash dishes. I don't care. But she needs to start a restaurant. Go over to her channel and tell her to start a restaurant, okay? Because we go and we eat at these places sometimes. We try to go out to eat once in a while, and we're always just kind of like, it's just not that great. The food's much better when we cook it at home, right? So I'm always telling her, you create the food that I want to eat, that anywhere else I'm so disappointed that I don't have, that the food isn't that satisfying. But when she makes it, it's not just because she's my wife. I mean, but that's your purpose, If there's something missing in life that you really, truly wish and desire with all your heart you had, like a good enchilada, maybe you're the one that's got to make it, right? It's all about food for me, but it may not be so for you, okay? And that brings us to our Hierophant, becoming the master of something, becoming the one that produces the thing that then sets the standard. In your life, you've always wanted, I can't even think of something, right? You always wanted a particular kind of show on television, or you always wish someone could just write like a good science fiction novel that satisfied you personally. You've got to be the one to write that then. That's why I'm saying we're doing it for ourselves. I'm doing the tarot readings here that I would want to watch, that I would want to sit down and listen to. Not that I want to listen to myself, but you know what I mean, right? So you're becoming that which you found to be lacking in the universe. Well, to me, that seems like a good place for you to fit in. That seems like a good little, there's a gap in, in the world. Well, that's where you can put yourself and grow. That seems to be, you seem to be the right puzzle piece that's going to fit into that puzzle. Okay? I really hope this is vibing with you, because the energy here is just so wonderful. And I think you really need to take advantage of this opportunity to do this. Now, we're going to talk about the path of the serpent. And, well, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. It's free, doesn't cost anything to subscribe, and it supports the channel and supports me and my family. And I appreciate that. All right. Eight of Pentacles. Don't expect overnight success. Be patient. Be prudent. You understand that by putting yourself into the company of these greats, of these giants, of these titans, whether this is through physical, close proximity experience or through videos and books and all these kinds of things, right? It is a gradual process. You are slowly growing and learning and absorbing all this information. You've got to put it to the test. You got to pay attention to the details. You can't just download all the information like Neo in the Matrix and suddenly you're I don't know, Gordon Ramsay or Wolfgang Puck or one of these chefs, you know? It's a slow and gradual building up of the energy, and that's we've got strong Taurus energy here. I still suggest you go watch the Taurus reading that we just did, but we're building things up in the right way. So we have to go slow. We have to realize that it's not a race. We're not rushing. Of course, you don't want to be lackadaisical either. You got to pay attention to the details. You got to put yourself in that dark, scary forest. And this is kind of like that tree that if it grows slowly and steadily with the right nutrients, absorbing the right nutrients, then when there's a really big storm and the wind is whipping around like this, the tree's not going to just snap and break. Okay? It's going to withstand that turbulence. All right? So you build your confidence up, but you're always trying to stay one step ahead of yourself. Okay? You always want to, once you feel that the weights are getting easier and easier to lift, you got to add more weight. You want to add more weight before it gets easy to lift. Okay? And so we always want to be expanding the situation just enough to challenge ourselves, just enough to keep us steadily going forward. Does that make sense? Okay. The moon card is down here. Now we have the full moon here. We have the new moon here. And you are this full moon energy, trusting your intuition, going in this dark, scary force. There's something inside of you that's calling to you. This high priestess is trying to show you the way to your best life, trying to show you the way to your empress life, right? Really the fulfillment of your purpose and what you're meant to do in this world. You got to take your light into this dark, scary forest. Okay. This is the unknown. This is a doorway. Let's do a divine doorway affirmation or oracle card. And your doorway is forgive and forget. A ritual cleansing of pain and lies. Arise and awaken. See a new sunrise. Forgive and forget. I wonder what that's all about for you, right? I wonder what maybe forgiveness is the biggest part of this, right? Maybe this is not about you starting some business or something, but I feel like this is you finding your purpose in life. And maybe forgiving is this idea of forgiving some of the disappointments, forgiving some of the the other paths that we've tried, the other experiments we've done, the other options that we have considered, forgiving those because we've all been down a lot of wrong roads in our lives. Maybe that's, forgiving and forgetting those missteps that we've taken along the way, right? Are we forgiving ourselves? It says a ritual cleansing of pain and lies, right? Arise and awaken, see a new sunrise. A ritual cleansing. Okay. Maybe it really is about kind of washing off all of the sort of past disappointments, right? Not the same disappointment that we see here as kind of the motivation, right? But maybe this is a ritual cleansing of the disappointments themselves. We're not getting rid of these disappointments. We're purifying them. We're able to transmute them into energy, into fuel, into motivation, rather than into what disappointment usually does, sort of drag us down, right? We're transmuting these disappointments. And now it's not just, I can never find a good meal. I'm just sick. I'm tired of it. It's just, there's nothing, there's no hope, right? it's just the way it is. This is just life. There's just no good enchiladas anywhere. Or we can use this disappointment as motivation. It's not necessarily sublimating, okay? It is transformation of this disappointment into motivation. And maybe that's where the Three of Wands comes in. A ritual cleansing of this disappointment, of purifying it so that it can become fuel. Okay? It can become rocket fuel, right? And we got that Three of Wands. And that really is a sense of purpose. That's a sense of identity. That's what we need. We need to get fired up about something. We have this disappointment. It could just make us depressed, right? Or it could fire us up and say, you know what? There are no good enchiladas in this town. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start an enchilada restaurant, right? I mean, it's kind of like you get this wild-eyed, crazy, harebrained scheme of an idea. Everyone thinks you're nuts, but this is your purpose, right? You're thinking, it's perfect. There's nothing good. Well, of course, we have to be honest with ourselves. We need to be able to analyze our intention. That's why the Three of Wands is a 3. Otherwise, it'd be an ace, right? I got this great idea, light bulb moment. You know, there are no good bookstores in this town. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to start a bookstore. But then let's analyze that idea. Let's take that Ace of Wands. Let's break it apart. Let's blow it up into 3. We have the will. Okay, the good idea, bookstore. How does my heart and mind feel about that? Well, what if my heart says, I don't like to read? What if my mind says, I don't know the first thing about books? Well, okay. Maybe I need to rethink this. Maybe I need to either get good at books, learn to love them, or find a different way to sort of find something else, you know. So we have to check in with ourselves and see, is this really something that feels authentic? Does this feel like me? Right? Is this resonating with me and who I am? Right? If there's this idea of, well, there's no good, Mexican restaurants in our little town, you know. We live in a small town. Then I get that big idea. I know, I'm gonna open up a restaurant. Yeah, well, I love cooking. I love to eat, right? I think I kind of know what tastes good. And then also, I kind of have knowledge or resources, and I have the will, the intention. I have a pretty good plan of how to do it. Okay? I have the heart and mind are saying, yeah. So then we know that this is, because see, the Trinity is really a unity. But we're splitting it up into 3 in order to analyze it and check in and make sure that this is something that we can really truly identify with and resonate with. And if it is, we have basically an Ace of Wands to a 10 of Pentacles. This is, I can't express to you how significant fire and earth is together, especially if we consider this the Ace of Wands all the way down through the cups, through the swords, through all of the earth energy to the 10 of Pentacles. This is the great, great work. This is everything for you. This is your life's purpose. This is all the marbles, right? I can't stress that enough, because in the hierarchy of elements, you start with fire, water, air, and earth, right? Fire, Ace through 10. Water, Ace through 10. Air, Ace through 10, right? And then the earth, the Pentacles, Ace through 10. So fire, the Ace of Wands, is way at the top. The 10 of Pentacles is as far down the line as you can go. It is literally everything. This is the great work of your manifestation. This is the purpose of your being. This is the greatest reading I've ever done. I want to look at that mystery card. All right. I don't know what this is going to be. I'm very excited. I'm kind of nervous. I don't know. I want it to be something very prosperous. I want it to be a sense of purpose. Maybe an Ace of Cups. No, maybe an Empress card. Maybe the World. Maybe the Wheel of Fortune. Right? That idea of sort of destiny, a little bit of luck. We need a little bit of serendipity. We need a little bit of help from the universe. A little bit of confirmation from the world around us. And we're all good. We're good to go. That's what I'm thinking anyway. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments down below. Wheel of Fortune. Great good fortune. This is expansion. This is your life's work. This is Jupiter energy. It is the cosmic wristwatch. It's Spirit's timepiece. And it's saying, hey, Scorpio, it's your time. It's kind of like saying, isn't it about time that you started on your life's work, that you got your great work really going? I think you're discovering your purpose. I think that you're going to get assistance from the universe. Things are going to be put in your place. And it's another way of knowing you're on the right path when you're starting to get a lot of green lights. Yeah. The universe is going to put the right people, places, and things on your resources. A lot of those resources on your path as you go. I'm getting too excited here. The right teachers, right? The right mentors, the right instruction, the right giants, the right titans, the right masters are going to appear. The right guides, right? When you're ready, the teacher appears, right? You're going to get the right teachers. You're going to get the right resources, the right people, places, and things being put on your path when you need them to further give you more and more green lights. Okay? It doesn't mean that there aren't going to be challenges and paperwork and obstacles and problems to figure out, but green lights. Okay? Everything around you is going to say, yes, this is it. You still have to deal with other people and all of those sort of human obstacles, right? But it's going to feel as if the universe has your back and is propelling you forward. This is absolutely amazing. I can't believe this. This is the great fortune. Okay? This is your purpose. We're going to do an extended reading too. I'm very excited for it. Click on the link in the corner or down below. New readings for Scorpio Wednesdays and Saturdays, 6 a.m. Chicago time. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please do. It's totally free to subscribe. Leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. Let me know if you have a food thing going on, yeah? I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.